Hello and welcome to Can Code Will Code. I'm Andy. Today we're going to be building a simple application to fetch a list of celebrity names and convert them to NPC names. So I came across this meme a few days ago. It just says if you need a name for an NPC character, replace all the vowels in the name with one that it isn't. And I thought that would make quite a good project. So Wikipedia has lists of celebrities. We'll be using The Simpsons, all the guest stars who have ever appeared in The Simpsons. So we've got quite a table here, and in fact this is split into two different tables to cover every season that they've had. So to start, we'll open up Visual Studio Code, and I've created a new file called Celebrity NPC Name Generator. So we'll start with importing a few libraries we're going to need. We will need requests for requesting the data. We will need pandas for doing data manipulation with the tables. We'll import random. We'll be using TKinter for displaying the name. And we'll use regular expressions just for handling cleaning up some of the names that are going to be returned. So first up, let's actually deal with getting a table of names. So what we're going to need is a URL and the table number that the table appears on the page. So we start off with fetching the page. We'll use pandas to read the HTML that we receive, and we will return that table. Okay, so let's test this out. So we'll start with the standard entry point into a Python application. If thunder name equals thunder main, then we'll run main. We need to define our main function. So in this we will get the URL that we're going to need. Start with the first few seasons. Just copy and paste that over. We'll copy the URL over. Now we'll get our data frame. And we'll print that data frame. Let's make sure we're bringing names back. So let's run that. So that's not returning our table. So let's say this section here. Here we can see we've got the data that we're after. So we'll take that away, we'll create first table of names from that URL, create a table of names from this URL, we'll create our we'll go get our second URL, and we'll concatenate them into a final table. We'll pass in the list of the data frames, and we'll ignore the index. So we'll just check this works. So we will print a string just to debug. We'll look for the length of each of the data frames and make sure that we're properly concatenating them. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and run that. Now, of course, it's got to wrap it with the length. And again, we can see I have made another mistake. Third time lucky. So there we go. First data frame has 845 names, second one 746, and the third one has 1591. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll create a function to take a name and convert it into an NPC name. Taking a name as a string. So we're going to need Right, so what we'll do is we'll iterate through each letter in the name that we've passed into the function. We'll convert the name we've been passed into uppercase. So if that letter that is a vowel, if it's in the vowels list, assign a variable for the new vowel we're wanting. Start that as equal to the letter. We'll keep generating a vowel until its one is different from the one we've started with. If the letter is the same, so if we take out an A from the name and we replace it with an A, we'll basically re-roll a new vowel. And we will take the letter and append it back into the list. So what we should have here is whenever a letter is a consonant, it will just pass back into the list, and wherever it's a vowel, it'll keep trying to redraw a new vowel until we get one that's different from the one it started with. Then all we need to do is join those letters in the list back into a single string. So what we want to do now is join all those individual letters back up into a single string. While we're doing this, what we'll also do is replace anything that's not a letter, characters we don't want to be there, we'll replace them and just keep the letters. So we'll use regular expression. So regular expression substitute is a regular expression, start with caret. A to Z capital because we're only working with capital letters. Periods and spaces are okay. Everything else will be replaced with a blank. So we have the regular expression, anything that's not one of these, A to Z, period or space, will just be blanked out, and then everything else gets joined together. So we will return that new name and we will give it title casing, just so rather than being capital, then we get the upper and lower case as well. So we'll test this out. We've commented this out and we have our test statement here. That does not work. Okay, I had a bit of a problem there with indentation, so that's been corrected. Before this was in one level too much, so it was passing the first letter of the name back. It's basically returning one letter instead of the whole string. So just to test it, that looks about right. So now we're going to take our data frame and we're going to pass every guest star from Simpsons, pass every name in and generate an NPC name for that. So we'll create NPC name list by passing in a data frame. So what we want to do is have a look back at what our first column is with the name guest star. So what we'll do is we'll create a new column called NPC name, and that will be guest star. And we'll apply the function that we defined above. Don't need to pass the string to that directly, as that is getting passed from each column. What we want to do is just return that column only as a list. Okay, NPC name list, passing in the data frame, and we will print out the first element from that. That seems to have worked fine. So what we'll do is we'll just create a list of names. Okay, we've got our list of NPC names. So the last thing to do is just create our GUI and TKinter. So create a new TK window. We'll give it a title. We'll set the size of it. It's not going to be a big application, so I think we'll do 600 by 150. The TKinter is not a good looking application, but we will try to give it a little bit of style, not much, but should be good for our purposes. Right, so we need to create a label for the name we're going to display. Create a label element in root. We'll give it a placeholder of nothing, and we'll use AL size 60. No, let's go for something bigger, size 30. And we'll we're also going to want a button in order to and we'll actually need to create a function just to return a single name. So what we're going to need to do is create a function to select a name at random and also set the label on our TKinter window. Set NPC name. We want to pass it the list of names we have and the label we're going to use. So first we'll get the name, so that's just going to be a random choice from the list. And then we're going to have to configure the label to display it. So label, and the text on that will be the name that we return. So when we press this button, it's going to run a command. That command will be set NPC name, passing in the list of NPC names and the label for the names. Just need to pack this button and run our main loop. What we'll do is we'll actually make a call to set a name. Okay, let's try it. So we see we are now generating names. And bonus points for guessing who the original celebrity was. So with that, thanks for watching. I hope you've learned a little something. And if you have enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing.